Good morning. Today I'm making some more of my scratch homemade chunkies. Hubby ran out, so come with me and I'll show you how I do it. So my lineup is you get any kind of bags of semi morsels and then the regular chocolate morsels. You're gonna put 1.5 cups of the regular and a half cup of the semi. You put them all in a bowl and pull out 2 tablespoons, and I'll show you why in a minute. Then we get some coconut oil, and then we have peanuts and our raisins. It calls for half a cup each. I pulled just a little bit less out because it takes up too much of the chocolate and you really just want a bite of each. And then at the end, I add my own little secret ingredient. I've tried doing it with the morsels, don't work so well. It messes up the chocolate, and you want your chocolate to be shiny. So we're gonna put our bowl in the microwave and we're gonna start out at 25 seconds. While we're working on that, I'm gonna get a little brush. And some cocoa powder. And we're gonna get a mini cupcake pan. And we're gonna dust the cups with the cocoa powder so the chocolate comes out easily. So I pretty much stick it on the brush and just kind of go in. It puts a little bit more than what you want, but I fix that up later. And I'll show you as soon as I'm done. I just try to get it into each tin, and then I'll get a napkin and go around with it, because when you try to do it this way with the silicone brush, it actually puts a little bit too much in there. And you just want to make sure the whole tin is dusted. I do about 16. I try to get as much candy as I can made because it's a snack every once in a while. It's not made to eat like every day like regular candy because it's so rich. So now I'm going to flip it in the sink. And then that's basically what you're looking at. There's without and there's with. And then I get a paper towel and wipe up the edges. And then that's pretty much how it's gonna look. You can see it's all dusted. Okay, so I'm checking on my chocolate. It's just starting to melt, so I'm gonna put it back in. And I'm just checking. We are going to do, I believe it's 30-minute intervals. Correction, 30-second. I only have 1 cup of coffee today, sorry. So I'm gonna put my other stuff away. I've always liked to clean up while I go instead of waiting to the end. I'm going to show you that this is what they look like when they are complete. That is one right there. I just stick them in a container on wax paper so they don't stick. And I layer them and put wax paper on the top. So I have my container ready. And let's get a spoon. We're going to go check this chocolate. This time we're going to give it a quick stir. I did put a little extra in, more than what it called for. But that's because, like I said, I try to stretch it as far as I can. Because I do work and it's hard for me to make it all the time. So I try to do things when I'm off, and I try to make big batches so that I can rest when I'm off and not always have to be on my feet cooking. Okay, let's get this back in. Just be careful because some bowls do get very hot, so watch when you're grabbing them when they come out. Let me get some. See, I guess I ran out of wax paper. I have everything but wax paper, so we're going to try some parchment paper to put in the container when they're done. So I just check it and keep going. I don't want to keep stirring because every time I stir, I have to clean the spoon. Tonight I'm making scratch sloppy joes, so maybe I'll pop on later and do a little video of that. It's too early to make because you want it fresh. Just kind of measuring this to put in my container for the ones that have to sit on the bottom. I just kind of fit it in there like that, and then I'll wait to do the rest whenever I put the candy in a little while. So I'm just going to set this aside for now, because I want the older pieces of candy on the top. All right, it's coming along there. We'll just keep checking on it and keep moving. So I'll cut another piece of this parchment paper. I don't know about you guys, but I always try to have things on hand. I have almost every spice you could think of. Maybe not quite everyone, but I do try to keep as much variety as I can so that when I cook, I have what I need. You don't want to break the bank either some days. Trying to make recipes, I try to do with what I have. This weekend I may have company, so I'm gonna make Salisbury steak with gravy, sauteed onion and mushrooms, and some garlic butter egg noodles. All right, we're gonna give this a quick stir. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Just what we're looking for. Just to show you that's what you want. So now we are going to add the coconut oil because that's going to give it even more of a shine. And the 2 tablespoons of the unmelted morsels, and we're going to stir that in. And we'll probably do 30 more seconds. Of course, this is hot enough though. We may not, because you just keep stirring and stirring and all the bumps melt. Yeah, I don't think we need to put it in anymore. But look at that shine. That's what you want. That's what you want. So now we're gonna work in our peanuts. I'll just do a little bit at a time. You just kind of fold them in. You don't really want to stir. You just kind of fold them in. We're going to do a little bit of our raisins. And again, you want to fold them in there. You want to try to get them so that in every bite's going to have one. All right, I'm going to do a little more of the peanuts and a little more of the raisins. Just keep folding, keep folding. And I'm going to use the last of the peanuts and the last of the raisins. And then this is what it looks like pretty much. It's all mixed in there, all covered up. So now we're going to move our tin over. And we're going to just start spooning it in without making too much of a mess. And then I'll show you how high you want it to be. I might add just a few more peanuts in here. Because I did chop some and I normally don't. The recipe also calls for unsalted, but I always use salted. And it works out just fine. I'm going to try to drop a peanut on top of my first one there. I think I'm going to use this other spoon to help me out a little bit here. If I get any drippage on the pan, I just wipe it up when I'm done. Just easier to clean. Some more candy number 5. Just keep working your way. It's the easiest thing to make. It don't take long at all. I might even add another raisin or so on top. So now I'm working on number 8. Just working my way across. I still have plenty of chocolate in here. Take a little taste. My finger's not touching the food. Just a spoon. I'm on number 12. I might actually have more than 16 here. Like I said, there's no rush. You don't want to fill the cups all the way up. I mean, I pretty much do, but I don't mean to. You don't have to fill them to the top. They're supposed to be like 3/4 of a way. But you do want them to be deep, like an actual chunky. Sorry. Got an itch. Okay. Going on number 13 here. Now we might just make the 16. We'll see. Maybe one more than 16. Making more of a mess than I usually do on my pan, but I'm going to clean it up in a minute here. I'm going to try to make 1 or 2 more. But I got to get a little bit of this chocolate out of this one here. All right, let me grab my cocoa powder. I'm just gonna have to use my finger because I already put the brush in the water. Cocoa powder is messy. You definitely have to wash your hands before you touch anything. All right, so let me clean up the pan, then I'll show you what it's supposed to look like. And we're almost done though. We got one more step, which I will show you in a moment. Sorry, bad habit. Like I said, clean as you go. Okay. So I'm going to wet a paper towel just a little bit. And we'll wipe around the edges of this pan. You just don't want to have the chocolate all around the edges. It just makes it easier when you're trying to remove it from the tin. And that's if you could keep it from sticking into the other pieces like I am and making more of a mess. Do you ever notice when you do something on video, it never works the way it does when you're not on video? So I'm going to try to work quick and more carefully. Come on. One more should do. If everything was perfect, we wouldn't be human. If you have OCD, it's no joke. And I do, so take a little longer than I want it, but I have to have it the way I want it because it's easier to get them out of the pan. Okay. That's going to be as good as she gets. Okay. Last step. I get my caramel. Pop it in the microwave for about 30 seconds. I'm going to get a toothpick. said, I may add a couple peanuts in the top of these and a couple more raisins. I usually take them out of the fridge because they stick together. So now the caramel is liquidy, more easy to work with. I got a few raisins, which I'm going to separate here. Try to do this all in one shot, and then we'll be done. And you'll have a delicious homemade snack as long as you have the ingredients you're not paying an arm and a leg for. So right now I'm just going to put 1 peanut in each, as you can see. At least I hope you can see. Just to make sure I have enough in the slots. I just wanted to add a little bit more on top. I'd rather do it after than during, because it just takes up all the chocolate. Kind of defeats the purpose of making more if you fill all the chocolate up. So I think I'm going to add 1 more to each, trying to get little pieces here. I don't want little big ones. All right, that's it on the peanuts. And now we're gonna do a little tiny drizzle of caramel. I do right on top in the center. Very little. I'm not even dropping like a tablespoon, just literally 2 to 3 drops. When you melt it in the microwave, it makes it easier to pour and control. Chunkies don't have caramel, but this is just the way my husband likes it. Alrighty. And I'm going to get my toothpick. And I'm just going to stir to mix in the additional things I added to the top. Try to make sure they're covered. Stirring in that caramel. You want to try to mix it as well as you can. It's a little bit of a process, but like I said, it really don't take all that long. You just have to be patient. You know, if you love the person you're doing it for, you'll take your time and just make it right. And then they'll love you for it. Halfway there, guys. Halfway there. Bear with me. Like I said, when you have OCD, it makes it a little harder. Just want to make sure it's mixed in there really, really good. And at the same time, I'm trying to make sure the chocolate is off the sides as much as it can be, because you got to pop them out. Almost there, guys. A handful left. One more. All right. And the last step that I do is you get it and you drop it down. Try to make it even. Let me grab this phone. And this is what you got. And then I put it in the freezer. Let me get it in here for you. I just slide it right in my top drawer and sit it in there for a little bit. And there you go. Homemade Chunkies. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.